I'd like to welcome my fellow councillors. We have two councillors unable to be with us tonight, Councillor Duran and Councillor Adams, but we do have a quorum, and we have city staff members, our CAO, and our Director of Tech Services, and Linda from Tech Services, as well as Brian Harlick on the controls. So we'd like to welcome all our viewers on YouTube, and welcome members of the media who may be watching and listening. And we'll continue on with our meeting. And at this point, I will turn it over to the chair, Councillor Brian McFeely. The floor is yours, sir.
I thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to move right into it. Beautiful night outside, so
I guess we get the approval of the agenda, too.
we'll move along. Pardon me?
We've got to get the approval of the agenda,
We do need the approval of the agenda. I could move the approval of the agenda,
good.
Your Worship.
Thank you.
Need
Go ahead, sir.
Seconder?
Moved and seconded. Okay, floor is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we're in a zoning bylaw amendment for lots 19 to 26 and lots 43 to 50 on Putter Street. The background: an application was received from McDuff Holdings, Inc. The purpose of the amendment is to allow townhouses. The application is to amend the city zoning bylaw as follows. Proposed amendment: change the zoning map from low density mixed residential R2 zone to high density residential R4 zone, and the map is attached showing the designated property there.
But just, if we could back up just for a second so I'm clear on that, Councillor. Is that both sides of that street? The arrow is on one side, but that's that whole area?
Everything's shaded, so
Thank
it's
you.
both sides coming down.
The original one we got, that was just shaded one side.
No, the one in the package was shaded both sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The application was advertised in the July 8th edition of The Guardian, and letters were mailed to city property owners within 60 meters or 200 feet of the subject properties. Low density mixed residential R2 zone, current zoning. 16.1, the purpose of this zone is to provide for low density housing in the form of single family, semi-detached and duplex dwellings and other compatible uses. Permitted uses: 16.2, subject to bylaw requirement. R2 zone permitted uses: single family dwelling, semi-detached dwelling, duplex dwelling, accessory building, assisted living. Discretionary uses: 16.3, subject to council approval. R2 zone discretionary uses: child care facility medium, a social service agency, a nursing care facility, tourism established B&B, and that also requires conditional use permit, and a boarding house. Conditional uses: 16.4, subject to a permit. R2 zone conditional uses: home-based business, secondary suite, tourism establishment, vacation rental property. High-density residential R4 zone, proposed zoning. 19.1, the purpose of this zone is to provide for high-density housing in the form of apartments, as well as housing in the form of single-family, semi-detached, duplex dwelling, row house, townhouse, and other compatible uses. Permitted uses: 19.2, subject to bylaw requirements. R4 zone permitted uses: single-family dwelling, semi-detached dwelling, apartment building, boarding house, accessory building, assisted living, duplex dwelling, group home, child care facility medium, rooming house, row house, townhouse, nursing care facility, community care and nursing home, and social service agency. Discretionary uses: 19.3, subject to council approval. Our 4 zone discretionary uses include a tourism establishment, also requires conditional use approval, and a tourist home and inn. Conditional uses: 19.4, subject to a development officer approval. Our 4 zone conditional uses: home-based business, tourism establishment, bed and breakfast and vacation rental property, and secondary suite. So now is the time in the meeting where we open the floor up for the applicant to invite it to make any comments they wish. We have Robert Duffy and David McLeod here of McDuff Holdings. So, Robert, I'd ask you just to state your name and address and.
Robert Duffy, 45 Johnson Lane, Kincora, BEI. like to thank council for meeting tonight for the rezoning meeting, and Aaron and Linda as well. So yeah, we asked for this rezoning on this new development for the top lots. We have interest for triplexes and four unit units up there. The lots are very deep, so there's people wanting to purchase them for multi-unit development. We have an agreement signed with the previous landowner that 4 unit would be the biggest that we'd be able to build on this development, just simply not to compete with his previous apartment building that he had. So the biggest unit we'd be looking at would be a fourplex for this rezoning. There's multiple fourplexes around Summerside, in back of the shell and stuff. Triplexes, it just, when people are developing units, it's more cost efficient to build a triplex or a 4 unit building to maximize the lot and the building construction. So there's, duplexes were a big jump from single family. Triplexes and fourplexes, they're more attractive for developers. So we're getting a lot of calls on this type of development. The bottom lots already in the previous rezoning before the land was developed was for R4. Is that right, Aaron? Yeah. Yep.
How many,
Sorry. Oh, go ahead, Councillor.
Robert, how many units do you think would be on these?
Well, again,
If they're, it's
they would
different
need to buy 2 lots to put up a fourplex.
Fourplex, yeah.
Yeah. So it would have to conform with the city, regulations for offsets and stuff like that. But if they needed to put a fourplex to conform to the setbacks, they had to buy 2 lots. It is what it is.
Okay.
So that'd be 32 units, right? 8 times
No,
4.
they need to buy 2 lots to get a fourplex on 2
Yeah.
lots. Yeah.
But if
So
they were all fourplexes, it'd be.
fourplexes is the largest building. We signed on to with the previous landowner that we wouldn't do anything larger than a fourplex.
Yeah.
That would make 32 units
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
4 lots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
16
exact.
lots.
There could be 8 fours.
Yep.
David.
Dave McLeod, King Court. Yes, but they could also buy 4 lots, consolidate them, and do a series of buildings on those 4 lots. They would apply to the city, of course, once they were R4. So there could be, 3 lots with maybe 4 buildings on it, if it fit to the city's recommendation. That's all, but, it wouldn't be fair to say that, buy 2 lots and put a fourplex on. It could be more than that, not
But-
necessarily, but it could possibly.
But the largest building can be a fourplex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like lots 26 and 25, I don't know the exact measurement, but I think they're roughly 380 feet deep, just like simply because the way the street was designed in the original concept. So if there was some type of arrangement made with the city that they could access in and do 3 buildings on those 2 lots, but again, it would have to conform with the city setbacks and regulations. But the largest building that would be going on any of this property would be a fourplex. Yeah. And I'd be fair to say, single story. Single story. Yeah.
Any other, Deputy Mayor?
Robert, I was just wondering if when you, and I don't know if this is a fair question, I'm just wondering, when you both started the development in the beginning, was this something that was always a part of your plan, or is it something part of the way you decided that there'd be more interest from people for something like a
it was
fourplex?
always part of the plan, and I always go back to Lafergie development, the first one we did in Summerside, and it was the decision at that time, single family, duplex, what the split was gonna be. And again, I mean, I'm on the council in King Core, and I'm driving that, down Council's Neck. You gotta understand, you can't fight what people wanna build, If your development is multi-unit, and people want to come to your village or your city and build multi-unit, you can't tell them we're in business, we just want single-family homes. So the multi-unit, the triplex, the fourplex, for people investing money, it is the way to go, and it's the best bang for their buck. We figured when we did this development, it's on the very western boundary of the city limits. It's not in a high-density area where people, it's in my backyard, that we're not gonna bother anybody really, other than
Right.
the few houses that are there, and we are in their backyard, but they're very attractive units that are being built out there. You know, anything we've done in the city, we've done it professionally built. You know, we're not into low quality building.
Right.
So we do pass it on to any developers. You know, we do have very high-end units being built. We expect the same type of
Sure.
construction. So a multi-unit development for Potter's Lane was always, you know, in our radar, but we didn't want to push tech services until we got the construction done and ready for construction for units to say, okay, there's nobody built here now. Let's get the zoning out of the way before there's 3 single-family homes, and we have to tell them, now we want to put a fourplex beside them, you know.
And will these be rented? Like, will they be rentable or privately owned?
That will
or
be
do you know
totally
that?
up to the developer. Like, I built the first 2 units that are on Potter's Lane right now, and they're rented. There's like just the calls just never stop looking for
Right.
people for units, but we do have interest in the top 4 lots, and they will definitely be built for rental units.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Ramsey.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you to McDuff Holdings for coming into Summerside and taking your business here and building these units that are well needed. Like there's just, people are crying for homes and places to live. So thanks for doing business here in Summerside, guys.
Thanks, Councillor Ramsey.
What a view of the backyard, Mr. Chairman, the golf course?
Pardon me?
That'll be the golf course in the backyards?
Yes, yep. Golf course in the backyard, yep. Yep.
I spend a lot of time on those lots.
I picked up
Going to get my ball.
quite a few of your golf balls the other day.
There. Any other questions from council? Councillor Schmaltz?
Seeing as they are in the backyard of a couple there, have we received any public comments that we know of? Is there anything coming?
There's been no public comments.
And all the houses
Yeah.
in front there would have been delivered notices?
No, the houses in Community Link Letter would not
Oh,
have been.
never mind. Yes, gotcha, exactly.
So the only 2 houses that received, the 2 residents, this
Yep.
one here, and actually Bernard's Quick Mart, and then this is city-owned property, we're notified, and the applicant themselves.
So you actually go from the community link letter into Potter's Lane? Right,
Correct.
gotcha, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking it ended right, yeah. Thank you.
There's an ad still placed in the paper, though, like,
Yeah,
there's still
yeah.
notification, just individual letters additionally go to the property owners.
Correct, okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say that I haven't had any contact with anybody, that nobody has come forward, and I fully support McDuff Holdings, so. And thanks for investing.
Councillor McDougall.
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
Robert.
thank you.
And, as we move on the process here, now's the point in time we invite the public for comment, but there is no public here, so, and we have not, for the record, received any written questions or comments, so we will move on with the explanation of the process. In order to process a zoning bylaw amendment, the following steps are required. The zoning bylaw amendment is read a first time and declared as read at a first council meeting, and we'll do that tonight. The zoning bylaw amendment is referred to planning board for review and recommendations, and both of those steps will take place tonight, and that planning board meeting will happen on August 4th. Step 3, the planning board reviews the application and prepares a recommendation to council, currently scheduled for the planning board meeting on August 4th at 4 p.m. The zoning bylaw amendment is read a second time and declared as read at a second council meeting. The zoning bylaw amendment is read to be adopted by council. The resolution will be either carried or defeated by vote of council. If the zoning bylaw amendment is adopted by council, it is sent to the Minister of Communities, Land and Environment for signature, and the amendment becomes official. And step 3 and 5 would take place at council's second meeting, currently scheduled for our regular monthly meeting on August 17th at 12 noon. Please note that in accordance with section 5.20, the zoning bylaw, any person who is dissatisfied by a decision of council in respect to the administration of this bylaw may appeal council's decision within 21 days to the Island Regulatory and Appeals Commission, IRAC. So, Your Worship, I got 2 resolutions.
Go ahead, sir.
In relation to that, so we will move forward with resolution. The first one is resolution COS 20-075. Moved by myself, Councillor McFeely, and seconded by Councillor Ramsey. Whereas an application was received from McDuff Holding Inc. for a zoning amendment for a portion of PID number 1102318 from low-density mixed residential R2 zone to high-density residential R4 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. Be resolved that zoning amendment 228 be hereby declared as read a first time. And Schedule B is attached to Your Worship, and I'll read that into the record. Zoning amendment 228, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. The Council of the City of Summerside, under authority vested in it by Section 18, Section 19 of the Planning Act, RSPPI 1988, Cap P-8, hereby enacts as follows. The zoning for a portion of PID number 1102318, shown on Schedule B of the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, is designated as high-density residential R4 zone, hereby excluding it from its former designation of low-density mixed residential R2 zone. And the maps showing the subject property is attached, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillor McFeely and seconded by Councillor Ramsey. Any questions on the resolution? I do not see any questions. All in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary nay. Carried unanimously.
And the second resolution, Your Worship, COS 20-076, moved by myself, Councillor McFeely, seconded by Councillor Barb Ramsey. Whereas an application was received from McDuff Holding Inc. for a zoning amendment for a portion of PID number 1102318 from low-density mixed residential R2 zone to high-density residential R4 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. And whereas zoning bylaw amendment 228, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, was read and declared as read a first time at this council meeting. Be it resolved that zoning bylaw amendment 228, a bylaw to amend the City of Summerside zoning bylaw, be hereby referred back to the Planning Board for review and recommendation.
Moved by Councillor McFeely and seconded by Councillor Ramsey. Any questions on the resolution? No questions? All in favour say aye.
Aye.
Contrary nay. Motion carried unanimously.
And that concludes.
So that's all we have on the agenda. Is there an item for the Committee of the Whole? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved by Councillor Campbell and seconded by Councillor Ramsey.